right, welcome to the fourth and final game of the evening. Third review. It is Great God Grove. The world is ending, and the gods are squabbling. Suck up and launch dialogue in a world of puzzles, puppets, and weird gods. Or the rift will consume us all. Once in a generation, the gods come together to postpone the apocalypse. But this time, the god of communication started a bunch of godly fights and then went AWOL. With the sky splitting and the gods in disarray, who's going to join the busy boys and save the world from the apocalypse? Uh, okay, we'll get to
That
that.
hurt.
Okay, like that's how the busy boys speak, but all the time. It's a big part of the charm and or disdain you're gonna find for this game. But let me get to that in a bit, because rewinding a bit to getting to what this game is, it is a puzzle, an adventure game, kind of in the style of a point and click adventure game, but kind of not. That is to say, the spirit is there, the mechanics are very different. In fact, they were kind of breezed upon by the marketing materials. Because, so you are the God Poke, the new mail carrier to the god. Like, though you're carrying less letters and more, well, the actual messages of the god, because of this device called the Megapon, um, which was literally cast down from the heaven, um, seemingly as a final exclamation point, but the former mail carrier of the gods, um, due to reasons unknown. Like, now, and while the overarching problem is the rift staying open, the individual gods have their own problems and concern. Um, to it, the first god, the elder god, the first god that you meet in the godly grove. Well, no, that is Inspecta, who is the investigator of the gods, as you maybe surmise from the name. But like the head god, or is it close to a head god as they have, is Miss Mitterschnatt, or Miss Mitternacht. Yeah, there's no S there. Who is this giant
Yeah, I'm pretty
skeleton?
sure it means approximately midnight.
Yeah. Um, who is this big skeleton in a nun outfit, who is literally crying a river. Well, more a torrential rainstorm, but it's also creating a violent river that you have to deal with. Um, and you deal with these problems mostly by using the Megapon to suck up key phrases given to you by the other gods, the other residents, the busy boys, bunch of characters here, right down to Wiener Dog, in order to advance and calm things down. Like, there is the occasional actual item but it's handled mechanically the exact same way. Like, you will suck it up and you will blow it out via the megapon. You know, forgiveness for the actual accidental innuendo, but this is how the device works. And yes, they do make a joke about it in those terms in game. This game is not above crass humor, let's say. I mean, there's a joke about one character being named the letter P, and the requisite urine jokes do flow, if you will. Uh, uh, so the game is mostly in third person, except when you meet the gods themselves. They're handled specially. Also, like the beginning ship's captain is handled in the first person view, where everything's fully 3D. And you've got the creator's patented head shaking technology. I'm not sure if it's actually patented,
Uh-huh.
but well, here's the thing. It's a mechanic that they were very proud of. They made an entire game out of. It was their first project, and they liked it so much they brought it over here. Like, you literally shake your head yes or no to answer the god. And it's kind of
Nice.
clunky on a yeah, it's kind of clunky on a controller. Like, so, like I said, mechanically, this game is pretty simple. In fact, um, it can be downright monotonous after a while. I was frankly getting tired of it after 3 hours. What's gonna carry you through this game or make you run away very quickly is how quirky do you like your games? Because, dear God, if you will, if this thing were a god in its own pantheon, it would be the god of quirks. It's nothing but quirks, if I'm being honest. You know, like every character has an esoteric personality, a funny accent, that kind of deal. Because, and this may be another weighing thing that could be the tapper. It's all done in Banjo Kazooie speak. The sounds are made to sound, nonsensical sounds that are nonetheless presented as characters speaking, with distinct flavors to, capture the tone of speech. Like how Banjo and Kazooie had their own distinct ways of speaking, and so on and so forth. Exact same thing here. And if that's the kind of thing that'll drive you to madness, run away. Run very far away. Um, so yeah, the game is quirky as fuck. And that dovetail into the third style. That's the video segments. You don't play these, but they are basically something off of Adult Swim. Right down to the fact that we, they're represented by puppets. You know, swear to God,
Oh, those are
it's
actually part of
some.
the game. I thought that was like just trailer stuff.
No, that is actually in the game, and yeah, like it's out of it comes across as something out of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Once again, how um offensive to attractive that statement is going to depend on the individual, I think. You know, indeed, like we have covered a number of Adult Swim games. Sorry, not Adult Swim game. A number of fellow traveler games, and this is the one that would be right at home on Adult Swim, like right in between Smiling Friends and Common Side Effects. And it's not stoner humor per se, but it's got that same laugh out loud random energy and vibe that Adult Swim has a good chunk of the time. You guys know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I mean, going back to one of the gods, Inspector. He's the one that he is this long, lanky blue dog thing who will talk in a funny accent, um, mispronounce words or like kind of pronounce them phonetically, and will doesn't have hands, so comes across as a bit of a Homestar Runner character at that. And will also contort his body into weird positions constantly and with no rhyme or reason. Like that is just so very Adult Swim coded. Like so, it's kind of hard to judge this game objectively if I'm because for me, like a few hours was enough. Because while this game does get serious and aside, underneath all of the wackiness, it is a serious tale. But you know, Adult Swim humor is something that a little goes a long way for me. Other people, can watch Adult Swim comedy for hours on end. You know, good luck to them there. Objectively, the game is perhaps a bit too simple and repetitive with its mechanics. Also, I do not know why they are so proud of their head shaking technology. Like it's just head shaking. I don't know. This was a good game that did nothing for me. I think is the where I've come around on this. Um, in terms of pricing, it's $20, and I really think they should have kept the demo up because you really like this is a game that you really need to experience an hour of, I think, to really gauge whether or not you like it.
And it looks like
Because
one of those things where if you just watch some videos on it, it will like ruin it for you.
right. Because this is also a game that's begging to be experienced as well. Because it's all about the character here. The characters are the game. Like right down to the mechanics. Like the mechanics are pretty simple in a vacuum, but they have the same personality charged to it as the rest of the game. Right. So I think that's about all I got. Any questions from you guys?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
All right. Yeah. And to compound on that, this game is $20, which is pretty typical indie pricing. And from what I've been able to discern, this is a fairly lengthy game because in the vaguest possible spoilers, you will be visiting 8 God and helping out with their problem. So that's going to take a chunk of time. It's not like I think you keep in mind Steam's refund policies with this one, because I absolutely can see this game driving somebody to anger as much as it will make somebody laugh. It's a very specific flavor of humor that permeates the game. You're either going to like it or you're not. There may be degrees to that statement, like mild at best in terms of tolerating it. But, this may become the centerpiece of their personality. Don't do that, by the way. Don't make anything the center of your personality. But that's a different sort of
I was
life
about to
advice,
say
I think.
that's a philosophy podcast, not a gaming podcast topic.
Right. Anyway, well, it's more relating to making a game, movie, a thing like that, your personality. Like, don't do that. Anyway, so with that in mind, we come to the conclusion of another review session. Coming up on the week ahead, a reminder, MSP is currently off season, so there is no MSP until July. But on Wednesday, June 4th, we'll be having Dan Clark of Moonray Studios. Not to be confused with some fucking NFT scam that's still running in the year of 2025. But we'll be talking about the game Title Shock, which I believe we've covered on the program at some point, along with other games, Fabicles and Toonlight. So look forward to that. And we do have a Friday show. The guest has confirmed, and hopefully this guest doesn't spring a last minute work trap on me. It's like, yeah, sorry, I couldn't exactly work out another time frame for you, but you did that with a day's notice. So anyway, we'll be welcoming Jamie of Kaleido Games. I think that's supposed to be like kaleidoscope. Like Kaleido Game, and it's one word, Kaleido Game. Anyway, they've developed a number of titles, but it looks like we're going to be focusing on the upcoming sort of upcoming platformer, depending on your system. It's out on everything but PlayStation, but it looks to be coming to PlayStation at some point. Anyway, we'll be talking about the 2D platformer Slam and Roll. So once again, look forward to that. And until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.